Hi, adventurers. Saul Sunforge here for Dungeons and Taverns. Today, I wanted to talk about what is advantage and disadvantage. In 5th edition D&D, they added mechanics into the game called advantage and disadvantage. Advantage is when you roll, or when the DM tells you to roll 2d20s and you take the highest. That's advantage. Disadvantage is when you roll 2d20s and you take the lowest. 16. So with advantage, I would have had a 19. With disadvantage, I have a 16. Situations in combat that would give advantage. If you are shooting some type of projectile, bow and arrow, a bolt, a crossbow, a bullet for a sling, if you know, maybe even throwing darts, perhaps, or daggers down, maybe I would, but depending on the range. But when you're on the high ground and you're doing ranged attacks, I give you advantage. Um, you know, and if you're attacking from the low ground, you get disadvantage if you're attacking somebody who's on the high ground. Um, if you're climbing a rope and you're trying to attack somebody while you're climbing a rope, you get disadvantage. If somebody's trying to attack you while you're climbing a rope, they get advantage because they basically have you dead to rights. They're shooting at you right underneath you. They're shooting a bow and arrow right into your behind, or they have a ready action and they're above you, waiting at the top of the rope, waiting for your head to come up over the ledge. And they, oh no, the orc has the club ready. He's ready to pounce on you. He has advantage. Um, Other things. Let's see. Quicksand. If you're stuck in quicksand, up to your chest, and you're trying to, for whatever reason, do a melee attack outside, that that is that is disadvantage. If you're trying to do a ranged attack, it, I'd probably say it's just a regular. It's just regular. But you wouldn't be able to attack somebody behind you because you wouldn't be able to move. You would have to attack somebody in your range right in front of you. If you're trying to if you're trying to do a ranged attack on somebody who has a creature their size or larger in front of them, then they either have you either have disadvantage on the attack or they get a plus to their AC. It depends on how the group wants to play it. Because I've rolled it both ways before. It just depends on how the group likes it. Because they're both essentially similar. Um, and so those are in combat. Now for your saves, you could have advantage for saves. Like you can have advantage for status effects too. Advantage against poison because you're resistant. Or you could have advantage on your deck saves. Uh, when a dragon comes upon you with a hot breath weapon, blowing hot flames all around you. But you have advantage on your decks. It just depends. Some feats give you certain things. You could get extra proficiencies and skills, and so advantage comes comes into play often in a D&D. It's not like all the time, every battle, but it can happen multiple times in a battle. Um, and then I have certain house rules for it. Certain things that rules as written, or alternate rules would give you advantage. Like for flanking, I give +2 instead, and that's because a lot of classes in 5e have abilities that grant the characters advantage. And so if they're getting an advantage from flanking, then they're not going to really get to use the advantage from their class too often. And so I give a +2 if 2 people are flanking. If 4 people are flanking, it's a +4. For an easier campaign, it'll be a +5. Um, but then they also get to use their abilities that their individual characters have if they happen to have abilities that would give them advantage. So the +5 or +2 is over top of the advantage, or on top of. And players really seem to like that. So, if you're a DM, feel free to use it. All right, so this has been for advantage and disadvantage. Hopefully, this helps you out if you happen to not know, or as a quick reference while you're playing. I'm going to expand these out to a huge series to cover a lot of things, and you can look them up as you're playing or whatever, you know, and hopefully they help you. That's the goal, right? So, all right, have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.